Hello, everyone, and good afternoon to you. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. And as we prepare for the new week, another opportunity that has come called my attention is the XAUUSD. The goal set up at the moment, if we look at what's happening on the daily time frame, is very evident that price has been in an uptrend since the later part of last year, as we continue to find higher highs, though higher highs and lower higher lows. And we saw that at the course of the beginning of March, price hit around 2000 and 2070 before we started seeing something that looks like a reversal setup as price find a new high at exactly $2,000 before it went down a little bit during the course of the last 2 weeks. So now, the first thing we want to notice, we are going to be noticed based on this uptrend, is that we do have a trend line that we can actually put on this chart to give us a further peep into what is actually happening in the market technically. So with a trend line drawn below the pivot lows, we have something that looks like this, as we saw rejections of this level of this line at multiple times, which you can see with the green arrow that is around here. So are we going to have a rejection of this trend line here during the course of the next couple of weeks? That's a big question. That's a big question mark at this point. So let's make it big. Okay, is it big enough? Make it big. Yeah. So that is a very big question mark here at this time. So let me bring out our candlestick pattern, candlestick chart. So what are we seeing here if we now zoom closely into what has been happening after the impulse leg that began on February of this year? So we saw the impulse leg here. Then definitely we understand the fact that after every impulse leg, there is always a retracement phase that will happen. And we saw something like this happening since in the last 4 months. We saw buyers trying to push price up from one 1920 area, but sellers sent the price down, now giving us a new lower high during the mid of April. So with this setup here now, let's zoom closely into what has been happening in the last 2 to 3 months. So if we zoom in closely on the daily time frame, the first thing we will notice is that we have a key level around this area. As you can see, we saw a rejection of this level here. We saw a rejection below this level multiple times. Sorry, we saw rejection here. We saw rejections here. We saw rejections multiple times. And you can see before we finally had a breakdown of structure during the course of last week trading session. So with this being said, then definitely we now know where our key level is going to be at. So if I pull out my line chart at this point and we draw out what our key level is going to be, I think between here and here is more that's around 1950 area, 1915 area, I think. Yeah. Mm-mm. So so we have our key level at let's label this key level at $1,915. So we have our key level here. So what does this tell us right now? This informs of two things. One, we have a demand zone, then we have a possible potential supply zone. So we had the demand level, demand zone. From here, we can see that from this place, price has been finding ways. Sorry, price has been finding way to push up since the beginning of since the later part of February. Price have been finding way to push up, so confirming that this is a strong demand zone. So let's draw our demand zone here. I think we have something around here. So our demand is always light green. Let's make it a little bit lighter, and then we can name it demand zone. So let's put it right in the middle. Okay, good. So we have a demand zone around here, and so I think the recent this recent we had the demand zone here, after which we saw a breakdown of that demand zone on during the course of last week trading session. So what does that tell us at this point? It's likely price is trying to come down into our bullish trend line here, after which we probably see a reversal setup that will send price going to the upside. But before then, we we seen a bearish momentum, which is actually happening, and a rejection of this key level. Probably we see a reversal structure around this area will definitely send price going down into probably around 1845. So if we go down to the 4 hours time frame, what do we see on the 4 hours time frame? What do we see on the 4 hours time frame? If we zoom in closely to what's happening on the 4 hours time frame, we saw this bearish impulse leg, strong bearish impulse leg. Then we saw something that looks more like a reversal pattern, as we saw that since on the 28th we saw bullish momentum, though rejected at that key level. We saw another bearish momentum happening. So are we going to have a reversal pattern where we look for breakout of structure to the upside before price finally goes down into the trend bullish trend line identified on the daily time frame? So that is what we don't know at this point. So if I zoom in into the trend line, into the impulse leg, if we zoom in into the impulse leg and pull out our line chart, we'll see that we have a bearish trend line on the pivot highs that looks more like this. I just hope you're following me on this. So we see a bearish trend line on the 4 hours time frame right above the pivot highs. And now if we have an illustration of what that looks like, it looks like this. We had a rejection of that trend line, so you can see price continue to respect that trend line, and then we had something like this. Price continued to respect the trend line until boom, it broke out of that trend line. So now with this breakout at this point, this is another signal for probably a bullish momentum, as price has refused to respect the trend line. Breakout of bearish trend line. So we had a breakout of bearish trend line here, and that is a signal for us. So now if we zoom in into the breakout structure, we see this, we see a breakout which saw a rejection at 1918, 1915 area. So we might be looking for a retracement into the 50 to 78.6% retracement of this impulse leg here, before which will also share a confluence with the trend line and probably retest the trend line. Rejection of the trend line, which is form of a reversal pattern, then price moves up into above key level for a bullish momentum in the nearest future. So what does that mean? That confirms, if price does that, it confirms this structure here as an inverse head and shoulder pattern look alike, where we'll look for something that goes like this. So what I want to do at this point is this. First of all, I would like to find a demand zone for this mini impulse leg here, and that's going to fall. If you pull out our Fibonacci retracement tool, we will see, okay, give me a moment. So we will see a buy opportunity zone around this area. We see a buy opportunity zone around this area. Buy opportunity. Let me give this, okay, and then we give this a yellow. Okay, so we delete this. We no longer need this now for now. So we might be seeing a buy opportunity zone. And if you remember what I said on the daily time frame, let's go back to the daily time frame. If you remember what I said on the daily time frame, we might be looking for the retracement of this bearish impulse leg. And the retracement might look like this. Something like this is also a breakdown of structure that signals that sellers are actually in this game. So a possible counter trend in the form of a retracement into probably the 50 to 78.6% of the impulse leg before price moves to the downside. So our buy opportunity zone here on the 4 hours time frame, if it's we finally see one, is that we'll be looking for a potential take profit target at the retracement. If we pull out our retracement tool at okay, yeah, of the last impulse leg here, we will see that between 786 and 50% retracement can actually be our take profit targets if we see a buy opportunity at this point. Profit target, profit target. So we'll be looking for let me remove this. We no longer need this. So we will looking for a reversal setup around here, after which we see a breakout of structure, rejection of neckline of key level, and take profit within 1950, 1960, thereabout. So this is my perspective going into the new week, where we'll be looking forward to a counter trend where price moves into probably a profit target around this area, then price goes back down into the bullish trend line we identified on the daily time frame, after which probably we will see a trend continuation to the upside. This is a very long video. I want to pause the video here and remind us that what we'll be looking for going into the new week is based on one, the breakout of the trend line we identify on the 4 hours time frame, which could probably transpose into an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which is more of a reversal structure that will support a beginning of a retracement of the last impulse leg into 1950 or 960 area, after which we might be seeing price go down into the bullish trend line we saw on the daily time frame. So the time space of this is going to probably be around 2, 3, 4 weeks, 6 weeks thereabout for all this to actually happen. However, let's see how price plays out when market opens, and then I will definitely do a follow-up video on what my expectations are at this point in the market. So let me pause the video here. It's already 15 minutes long, and let's see how price reacts when market opens. Then in the comment section below of my TradingView account, I shall share some updates and probably do a follow-up video on this one. Thank you, and do have a wonderful day.